So there is
Yo,
this.
let me introduce. What's up, guys? Welcome to Crypto on Fire. Daniel Paulino here. We have Diego, Bitcoin OG. He's been around for many years. Experienced many crashes. He has a lot of experience. He's also an engineer, so he knows about how the energy system works. So he's gonna talk a little bit about the argument against Bitcoin when it comes to energy. So go ahead. What were you saying earlier?
So basically, there's this ongoing debate with mostly leftist people that say that, oh, we have to go 100% clean, we have to go 100% wind and solar, but that's like there is no chance of making this reliable, because usually the wind and solar energy are used for backup energy. They are not, or mostly never used for main source of energy, probably with the exception of some cities in Arizona and Texas, and that will be the only exception. But wind and solar, it's like only 10% of the energy of the whole country. Most of the energy, as we know, comes from fossil fuels. Still, it comes from oil plants and carbon plants, right? I mean, and the left is because of the carbon footprint, but there is nothing you can do at the short term. At least probably it will require at least 10 years, and there is no such thing as, if we don't stop now, the world will end in 12 years. I mean, it's.
So you think the whole climate change, we're gonna die in 12 years? You think that's like a hoax, basically?
That's a hoax. I mean, there is for sure climate is changing. We are getting warmer. You could arguably say that one of the contributions is carbon footprint, but the USA is not the main contributor to that heating. It's China and it's India.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because you know more about energy, you work in that area as well. What exactly is this carbon footprint thing that a lot of people complain about? Because honestly, I don't know much about that stuff. But
okay, so basically, when you produce energy with fossil fuels like carbon and oil, you burn these sources, so they go to the environment as you could say greenhouse gases. So these greenhouse gases are starting to increase the temperature of the earth at certain degree, but the USA is only like a tiny contribution, like, I don't know, probably 0.01% compared to what China does. China is like 10 or 20% of that contribution, and India is the same thing.
So what's like the primary energy source in China and India?
It's the same thing
As here?
The primary source is fossil fuels.
And why do you think they're contributing? You said like 20%, for example, in China. How come? Is it because they're like a larger population? Or
Oh yeah,
is that the only reason, or is it because of something else?
that would be the primary reason, because
Size, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
So size does matter, and
Yeah, compared to the population of the USA, we have like 320 million people here, right?
So let's making it a little bit fair for the people that they genuinely see this as an issue, right? They don't want the climate to, they don't want the polar caps to melt and for us to flood, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. They don't want the world to end in 12 years. What could be done in order to have a better use of energy? Like, what's the best way that it makes sense, because something could be cleaner, but it might not get the job done, right?
Okay, so as I mentioned before, solar energy and wind are not reliable sources for the long term and for big cities. They are mostly used for backup and for certain areas of where there is desert and a lot of wind. But we know that most of the north of the USA, for example, has a long season of snow, and it would be terrible to depend on these sources. There is no sun, for example, and some areas of the USA there is no wind. So it's insane. It's insanity. So basically, these leftist people don't want that. They want us to be energy dependent on other countries, so they can tax more people. They can, I don't know, generate more winnings from other countries, selling us energy. But the main question you asked me is about what can we do to transition to cleaner energy.
Yeah.
So the better option in this case would be nuclear energy, because nuclear is basically an energy source that doesn't leave any carbon footprint.
Oh, okay. And the carbon footprint is what's heating up the planet, right?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. So you said nuclear energy,
Mhm.
right? Okay. And why do you think we aren't using? So what's the primary energy we're using right now?
We're still using like 70% of fossil fuels. No, it's a bit less. It's 60. Sorry,
Okay.
60% is fossil fuels, and 10% is hydro. You know, like waterfalls generating hydroelectric energy.
Yeah.
The other 10% is combined wind and solar,
Yeah.
and 20% is nuclear.
Oh, so only 20%. And why do you think it's limited to 20% if it's cleaner energy?
There is like a stigma with nuclear energy because there were like a couple of incidents around the world in 70 years, but there are like hundreds of nuclear plants in the whole world.
So it's kind of like they something bad happened and then they blow it out of proportion, right?
And basically, these two incidents that is the most known is the one in Ukraine. It's that's the one they put as an example, right? But that doesn't have anything to do with the nuclear energy. It has to do with the irresponsibility of the people managing that plant.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't know if they were incompetent. There is actually a TV series called which is the name? Sorry, the Ukraine of this plant.
So in short, so we can wrap this up. You're saying the most efficient way to go is nuclear, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And is it so? It's the most
Chernobyl.
Efficient, huh?
Chernobyl is the name of the city.
So it's the most efficient, but is it sustainable? Like could we actually do it? Okay.
It is because basically nuclear energy works with a never-ending process of heating, and the process is called fission. It basically tries to heat particles and then it generates energy about it, and then there is a bit of waste, but it's, you could say, clean waste. It doesn't go to the environment. You can store it, and then you can reuse it to generate new energy.
So for all the miners out there who's hearing this, this is a great option. Let's switch to nuclear, right? Do more research on this, explore. Obviously, this is Diego. What's your name?
Diego Nolasco.
Diego Nolasco. I'll bring him more on the channel. Crypto investor, engineer. He knows about how different things work as far as engineering, electricity, water in the different cities and areas. So subscribe to the channel. We're gonna bring more content like this. See you on the next one.